Good morning. Oops. Here we go. Okay, good morning. It's Monday. Again. August 19th, 2024. I just woke up and coffee. There's 3 stages. I'm on the first stage. Let's do this. Let's do this shit. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Willie. What's up, my man? Maybe shit, I ought to take a rip off my vape right now. Because I'm not quite awake yet. Wake and bake. Hmm. What am I going to talk about this morning? Willie, since it's just me and you and maybe probably Cynthia. Is there anything you want to talk about, ask about, chat about? Because I have a couple of things. I go on I just rant basically. And had somebody from a couple of the Discord communities that covers Scientology ask me I can hear myself from the kitchen. Turn it down. We're going to create a space-time rip in the space-time continuum. Like this, if I drag this over. Woo! You see? Space-time continuum. Rip in the fabric of space and time. So, a community moderator from several Discords messaged me. Yo, you gonna do any more Psy content in the foreseeable future? Otherwise, we're going to archive your channel in the Discords. They're just trying to clean up non-Psy channels. Figured I'd ask before they just did it. I said, I don't know. This person said, well, it's just going to be archived and YouTube API will still push out your content. It will just not be viewable until you start up Psy content if you do. I said, well, might as well archive it. I mean, the way I am looking at it is, like, hey, buddy, are you gonna, stop jacking your jaws and start really doing something and talk about Scientology? Man, how many fucking years have I been doing that? How many fucking years have I been doing that? Have I talked to as many people as some others? No. Have I talked to a lot of people? Yes. Do I talk to people that don't want to be like me or anyone else that's in the fucking community on YouTube? All the fucking time. I knew a lot of people in Scientology. I know people who are scared to do anything because they have kids or family in Scientology. Like, at what point is that part understood? The interview title that I did with Aaron Smith Levin is called Bringing Celebrities into Scientology. You know how much they like their celebrities. Almost every person that I talk to in confidence knows and is connected to some celebrities. And there's only so many in Scientology. That's why they guard them. So, you know, it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from, me disclosing information about people that could potentially make my life a living hell again. So, as far as I'm concerned, I am Scientology content. So, if that's, are you going to post any Scientology content? Well, I made a commitment to do every week, 2 hours, Monday morning. If I sound frustrated, it's because I am. Someone, I don't remember who said it. A lot of people have said it. It's true. The number one thing they can do, OSA and whatnot, it's Tory, is to sow division, to get infighting going. And they're really good at that. When you're on staff or you're a public or Sea Org, no matter what, Scientology is a culture that can whip up some infighting like nobody's business. Good morning, Whitney. I'll go back a little bit because I just said this. Somebody who's a moderator on several Scientology, SPTV, or whatever Discords messaged me and asked me if I was still going to do Scientology content. Yo, you going to do any Scientology content in the foreseeable future? Otherwise, we're going to archive your channel in the PTS Discord. They're just trying to clean up non-Sci channels. Figured I'd ask before they just did it. I said, I don't know. And he said, well, it's just going to be archived and the YouTube API will still push your content. It will be viewable until you start up Scientology content, if you do. And I said, might as well archive it. I'm not relevant. Because it's like, if you can't see and you can't listen, I can't help with that. Like, I can't help people with that. I can't be a teacher for, comprehension. There also can't disclose a lot of the private conversations that I have. I won't. Disrespectful. It's a violation of privacy. So, it's not like this is anything new, Whitney. I've been irrelevant for a long time. And, I'm definitely not one of the cool kids. So, at least not in that way. And I don't want to be a cool kid in that way. Like, do you remember when Doug and I were talking about our dreams and shit? Um, that is more important to me to pursue and think about and use my energy on than Scientology. Scientology isn't defining me anymore. There's things that are left over from Scientology that'll be with me forever. Just like your childhood. I don't want to say from who, Whitney, on YouTube. And I'm not even on those Discords because of the, I don't know. So, this is something that has been occurring since I started broadcasting or uploading. People want to poke holes, pick they want to get more information always. And certain information is sensitive to people's fucking families. And people could lose access or the limited access they have to their children. So, no, I'm not going to disclose some of the savory morsels of information that people crave like candy about Scientology. I mean, I know everyone wants to see it taken down. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news on this, but it's got protection from the United States government. Good morning, poet Brian. Good morning, Brian. To me, it's a little naive. It's like saying, "Oh, well, let's go ahead and dismantle the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church has the same protection and they have more years behind the wheel of a whatever you want to call it, a coercive, manipulative group." And of course, not everyone is in. There's good people in every religion. There's good people. There's good people. But it's naive to think, in my opinion, oh, we're gonna put an end to this. You're gonna be long dead, probably. We can hope. I hope I'm wrong. Just like I was hoping I was wrong about Danny Masterson. But, I've said it before. I don't give a shit about subscriber count. I don't give a shit about views. I don't give a shit about any of that. I could care less. Does that mean that I don't care about the people that watch? No. Many of them have been some of the people that have reached out to talk in confidence. And that is helpful for them and for me. So it was a little bit unexpected because this, person was like, I don't know, like encouraging, like, hey, put all your stuff here. And but at the same time, the Scientology watchers and the Never Ends and X's were real slow to pick up on Discord. Real slow. Like, I've been using Discord since 2015. And so, just like a video game or any other application that someone doesn't know how to use, there's a growing pains period, a maturity lifespan or maturity period where they're like, oh, I didn't know this was like this. I didn't know this could do this. And Discord is a very useful communications tool, networking tool. And I'm sure by now a lot of people have figured that out. But I've been networking with it since 2015, and I just see a bunch of mad people jumping onto a new platform and going rah rah rah. I understand that things that Scientology does fucking really pisses people off and upsets people. It's horrible. It should be stopped. But y'all know how it goes. It's like people pick favorites and they take sides, and it's all the same shit. So I got my little echo chamber bubble here, and I could give two shits about what any other channel thinks about what I talk about. And on Mondays, we start our week. We start our week on Monday. That's why I started it, because I needed to have some kind of a start date, like every week, because I don't work a traditional job. I don't have a traditional job. And I wanted that work week feeling again, because I've been out of the rat race for too long. I wish I could go back. Can you believe that? I want to go back to the rat race. But for my trades, the only thing I can really do is gigs, because they're spread out enough to where I'm not risking ripping my leg. My Achilles is partially torn still, and I was told that it's not a matter of if, but when, and I can actually feel it when I'm overdoing it, and sometimes I'll have to rest for, if I overdo it, sometimes I'll be in bed for 2 days. So, yeah, the conversation ended off, passive aggressive. Like, I said, okay, might as well archive it. I'm not relevant. And they said, okay, cool. And I said, okay, cool to you too. And then I gave them the old live long and prosper. So, anybody got any recommendations right now? I'm feeling saucy. Excuse me. Feeling a little saucy this morning. Oh, you were a mod on Surges? Yeah. Yeah, changes. Turning face to strange. Look out, rock and rollers. That ain't no lie. Doug and I talked about our dreams, before Scientology. He wanted to be an actor. He was a phenomenal actor. And I wanted to be a musician. And I'm a musician. And I made a record that won an award. Yay, everybody gets a trophy. We talked about what Scientology took away from us. And one night we were talking, and he was lamenting about how they ruined it all. Like he was right there. He probably talked about that a lot when we weren't broadcasting together on his other broadcasts. Like he was right there about to be a made man, essentially, in Scientology. They were going to get him hooked up with the best agents and all this. And then that book got dropped off. He was about to get a whole bunch of roles and just go shoot up to the stars. But this is what I believe was really unique about Doug. Is that among other things, being an asshole, one, fucking total dick. I have lots of friends that are assholes. I don't mean that in a bad way. But Doug was a dick. But he was saying, well, they ruined it and I can't do it anymore. I can't even act anymore. And I said, man, don't let them take your fucking dreams. They've taken so much more. They've taken so much from you. Don't let them take your fucking dreams. And he's, he took a pause and was like, you know what, man? You're right, dude. Fuck that shit. And we were talking about doing a series called The Mission. And I really wanted to cast him as Hambone, Jim Hamry, or a character like that. So he was into it. And the wait a minute, integrations? No. I want to do a Lulu Howl. Here we go. It's not. Here we go. I have to do it again. There we go. Yeah. So, if one was to go back and start watching the things that I have published, I don't think that question would even be a thing. Are you going to publish more sci content? How much fucking more? I mean, I still talk about it. Every week, it at least comes up once, twice, a couple times, sometimes. There's probably times where it didn't at all. But I'm not here for the fucking views. I'm not here for monetization. I got Venmo, PayPal, my band, Cashapp, and buy me a coffee. If you want to support what I do, which is not all Scientology, then that's what that's there for. But I'm not monetized for the purpose of monetizing my life, monetizing my trauma. You know, if I want to do that, I'll fucking write a book. Hey, Blues. Yeah, it's hot as fuck. It's hot and humid here as well. I need to go cut the other lot today. Been mowing grass and playing Once Human. Maybe that's part of it. I started crossing my streams and doing multi broadcasts. Maybe people don't understand what I'm doing. Why is this channel that used to be Scientology broadcasting the guy playing games with his friends? Why is he broadcasting making music? Why is he broadcasting a tutorial on how to do audio stuff? Why is he broadcasting radio shit? Which, by the way, I've been missing K-Fuck on Thursdays. The move this summer and the kids starting school has changed the schedule, made it kind of difficult. So the last couple, I still gonna work it out because I'm so close to having a year's worth of broadcasts. K-Fuck. Whitney, let's see. Blues, 82 Fahrenheit, 54% humid. That doesn't sound too bad. We've got 95 to 97 here, with a heat index of 103 to 105, something like that. Whitney says, I think of your channel as a smaller, safe place for recovery from abuse of a cult or family. And possibly more important, smiley face, say you are doing resilience. What does that mean? Say I'm doing resilience. What does that mean? I mean, I know what resilience means, but is that... Can you pontificate on the resilience part? Thank you, by the way, both of you. Safe space. I'm glad. I hope it stays safe. That's why I put it in an echo chamber bubble and ignore every other damn thing. You know, what's funny to me is somebody recommended I reach out to Marilyn Honig. Even she did at one point, and I did multiple times, and no response. So, like, let's look at that. Why would someone say publicly, we need to collaborate, we need to do something, and then when I send something, no response? Why would someone do something like that? What's the deal with that? I want to hear your opinion. Why would someone go out in public and say, "Oh yeah, we need to do something, collaborate, talk about these topics publicly in front of people," and then say and then say nothing whenever I send them an email and say, "Hey, okay, cool. Did I do something? Did I say something that they didn't like? Am I persona non grata?" You know, I love Chris Shelton. I know he's a know-it-all. I know he's weird. I like weird. I'm weird. But, and I only asked him once. I was like, hey, man, you think, we could sit down and have a chat sometime on your... I forget which broadcast it was. It was something that I was interested in. He was like, yeah. Okay. Whatever. It's your channel. I don't care. It's cool with me. Like, if you think I'm crazy and you're not saying it, or you think I'm going to offend your viewers or something, just be honest. Just tell me. Yeah, and I hate using the word they. That's why, the only person that I haven't, I'm not going to say the name of the moderator of those discords. I don't have any issue, beef, or anything with anybody. I can't think of anybody I have any beef with. But you know why? It's because I don't watch them that much. Bonjour, bon matin, Martha Simmons. Comment ça va? Lundi, 10:30, 2024. Blues says, I am home now, constantly chatting with dad. Lol, too much for me. Need some space now. Ram Das said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend 2 weeks with your parents. Brian Lucas, I stay in my lane. Yeah, me fucking too. Whitney says the same. Agreed. Stay in your fucking lane, man. And, not to sound like threatening or anything, but don't fuck with me, man. I got family, I got kids, I got people that I love and care about, and I'll do anything for them. You start fucking with me in my life, like start fucking with my life. I've done a lot already. Damn near killed myself. Not in a suicidal way, just in a dragging my ass down the road kind of way, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, sure, Brian. I'm down. I had a good time last time. And we got a whole bunch of new material that we're working on. The Lafleurbros. Got a show coming up around the holidays. And pending the SSI disability income decision, I should be able to start making my plans to get my passport and apply for the World Talent Visa and get my recommendations in order to travel to London and go meet Alex and Dan Anderson and my friend Daedalus, a lot of gaming friends, my friend Mooble. Super excited for that. I'm not super excited to be away because I feel so good being close to my kids, but we're talking about a couple of months a year, which is a lot better than what my friends' schedules are in the music industry. They spend 8 to 9 months out at a time, so they've missed so much. They've missed almost as much as I have going through a divorce. I'd say I've had probably as much time with my kids as they have being on the road. It sucks. Being on the road is hard. But the idea is to start exporting some of this music that hasn't been distributed or published that comes from this weird little area called Louisiana. It's a very strange place, this state. It's like the only state I've been to that's like its own country. We still have Napoleonic Code. We still have a lot of weird laws on the books. And here we go, Willie. I got one of these deals, a vape pen, and I'm liking it. It's not bad. This is a citrus flavor. Yeah, and that's another thing, Martha. Like, going to London and meeting up with some of the, like, say, Alex, for example. British Scientology has to be different than American Scientology because of the laws. Property laws are different, ownership, taxes, all kind of stuff is different. So they have to operate differently. And I'm curious to see for myself with my own eyes what it's like there. Because I have a feeling that they don't have the same freedoms that they have here. They have to be a little careful. I could be wrong. It could be just an assumption, but I'm curious to see that. But I'll need that SSI income to make all this shit happen. And I I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of dude. Um Part of that is because of, and I understand it now. I've been in I've learned a lot in therapy. I disassociate well. And I had a conversation with a person, a former Scientologist, one of these, conversations that I can't talk about. I wish I could. That would be good Scientology content, but I'm not going to just take people's information and start throwing it out there, because guess what? They'll be listening and they'll find out who it is, and next thing you know, oh, I'm disconnected from my wife, or my husband left me, or my kids are now joined the Sea Org because I'm an SP. I take calls. I take those calls almost no matter what's going on. Saturday, my mother was here and Cynthia was here helping clean the middle bedroom for Stone. And I got a call. And when I get these calls and I know the names, I consider it a crisis call. Because it's, usually it's some heavy shit. Some heavy shit they're trying to work on. Or they just need someone to talk to. I better vote, huh? Well, what's this electoral college shit? It's their decision. Whether or not yeah. I don't like the electoral college. I have different. I mean, I like aristocracy. I like aristocratic viewpoints. I like a lot of his philosophy, especially in terms of governing. I've been called elitist for that. I've been called arrogant, elitist, short-sighted, because intelligence is not always a good thing. People who are smart will figure out how to, just like a game the system for their benefit. So you put smart people in there and they start doing that. Well, but not all smart people are bad people that are going to do that. So I look at it like this: if you elect really smart people, there'll be good ones and there'll be bad ones, just like anywhere else. But hopefully the resourcefulness of the smart ones will, outpace the resourcefulness of the bad ones. And, living with someone who acted like a king or a president for most of my life, like I feel like in the long run, they make more mistakes. They get short-term gains or mid-term gains, but in the long term, they're fucked. So just take a look at political careers. And there's lots of stories of different politicians who had long or, medium-term careers. Medium-term careers have to drop out because all of their fucking bullshit they pull caught up with them. They screwed too many people. Yeah. I think there should be some kind of IQ test, some kind of basic, uh, test, not for qualification, just to have, on file, so to speak. Like, okay, someone's in Congress talking about something, Say Scientology because, we got to talk about Scientology. Say someone is in Congress talking about Scientology and they're not that smart. They don't understand the intricacies of all the coercive control that goes on, how it's done. And they're just generally speaking, I don't think Scientology is good. And they have no fucking proof. Or they just say, well, they believe in Lord Xenu, and I just think that's crazy, and we shouldn't be funding and subsidizing and giving them tax breaks. Well, okay, that's a fair argument, but it's not a good one. A good one would be to go into detail and have others as well who are smart enough to understand that person speaking. And that, to me, is not a democratic thing. It's an aristocratic thing. It's the idea, and it's, cringe if you want. It's the idea that, hey, there are people out there smarter than me that might be able to do something about a big problem that I don't know the details of. And even if I did, I don't know if I'd be comfortable making that decision. So it's like a humbling idea. It is. Some people look at it as a, bowing before the crown or whatever. Or that's not even a thing. I just made that up. But, kneel before Zod. Superman. I don't know if that makes any more sense. But subservience. Pledging subservience. To me, that is not what aristocratic ideas are about. It's about recognizing, hey, there might be someone out there smarter than me, and we could pool our intelligences as individuals, as a community, as a region, as a state, or whatever label you put on these large tracts of land all over the planet, and you let those people figure out the hard problems, because there's smarter ones. There's good ones and bad ones. But voting, I just, in this system, don't get me wrong, dude, I am going to vote. I just don't think or believe that it matters one iota. Not one. I don't believe it. Oh, let's see here. This ain't my daddy's Republican Party. No. And, not mine either. My stepdad, Ira, he's the only dad I got left, and he's a boomer. Born in 1946. Grew up in the desert, West Texas, outskirts of Dodge City. Very poor. And not even knowing that he's, Native American and English and Spanish, super, super prejudiced against Spanish and African and things that he is. It's very common down here because a lot of people have African, German, French, British, Scottish, San Domingo, Caribbean, Haiti. And they're so prejudiced, They even have, the features of those cultures. Part of their cultural identity. It's so funny to me because we did what's called a conchon de lait every year for, I think, 17 years straight. And this all comes from deep Catholic, French Catholic roots that was pushed on the natives and the Africans and everything else. So This is a deeply Creole activity, even though there's not a tinge of it in the activity, except for the prayer Our Father that my uncle only insisted on doing like 4 or 5 times out of those 17 cochon de lait. This is where you roast a pig. It's like a luau, but they call it Cajun. It's actually Creole. Who would I vote for? Forrest Gump. In an aristocratic sense? No. No. That's the thing. There's really never been anyone that I really wanted to vote for, ever. And I get the argument, like, you vote for you agree with most of it. I can't do that on a personal level. Have I ever cast a vote where I felt like, this is the one? This is the future. This is going to be good? No. Never. This is how seriously I take voting. I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump. Everybody disappears. No, it's a joke to me. I voted as an independent, so in the electoral college, you're like, throw this one out. I do know how the system works. I studied law. And I got a general education. And about half as much college education. I just never finished. I've written papers on this kind of shit, and it's just not. I'm not saying it can't change. I'm saying that it's not likely. Oh yeah, Beach says same in the UK, and the choice is ... Doesn't matter. Been playing Once Human. There's been a reformation in a gaming guild that a friend of mine and I started years ago in 2010 called Exile. We're going by Good Job now. And it's working out good because in game, instead of being gamer jocks and being toxic and shit, we're saying, that good job. Like, even on the bad stuff, because it's funny and we like to troll each other. Like, you completely fucked that dungeon up. Good job. And then everyone can laugh about it and not be mad about it. No, I can. It's been years since I hung out with my British friends. I missed them. But I kept up with Dan, and he was the leader on the EU side, so he knew what was going on with me, and kept the flame burning until there was a game that we could all play together and reunite the US and EU. And we found it. And it's happening right now, and I'm having a lot of fucking fun. In fact, I wish I was playing right now, because there's probably shit I need to be doing in game. The tension over there politically is, I did not know that they were putting people in jail for up to 3 years for tweets in London that didn't go along with the narrative that they want. That is some serious, what I joke with all our British guildmates is, you know, because we're known as the loud, obnoxious. There's the stereotype, right? The loud, obnoxious American, and um, so as soon as we kind of started reforming, I'm making commentary on that. Like, this is why I don't bring my friends. They're like, we haven't hung out in years, and Dan is the lead. So like everyone knows and respects and whatever Dan, and Dan is vouching for this whole group of miscreants and misanthropes from the U.S. who are just cross-eyed PvPers, players that like to kill other players, and obnoxious. We get obnoxious. It's hilarious. It's fun. There's a there's a difference between British humor and American humor, and sometimes it's lost in translation. So I try to translate as much as possible. What the hell was I gonna say? Yeah, there's some people in the group that were very interested to talk about what's going on here in the United States, politically. Um, and many, I've noticed over the years that many guys my age or a little older, grew up in the 90s, um, look like look at our system in a bittersweet, like, God, we hate that, but we like that, but we hate that, but we like this. They almost did it right, um, but it's all wrong because there are things that just we have freedoms here that you don't have in other places. That when you mention it, it's shocking to the person on the other side of the country or in another country. They're like, "What? You can carry a gun?" 'Cause I told them yesterday that last month Louisiana passed into law uh, no requirement for a concealed carry permit for anyone 18 and over. Now, I am a gun rights advocate. However, that scares the shit out of me. That could be driving around after a gig and some drunk 18-year-old who's got some life issues, who has a gun, can just shoot me. So that means I need to be armed all the time too. And I am. We can criticize the crown here. Yeah, maybe that's what those posts are about. Like, if you're criticizing, like, the people that are going to jail may be saying some shit about the royalty. I like the UK show The Young Ones. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Willie, love Benny Hill and Python. Oh man, love Monty Python. We when the opportunity arises to do a bit when we're playing video games, every time I'll do a Monty Python bit. Like the other day, I had to change my handle from Crow Bennett to Status Crow. I used to go by Status Quo. There's a whole reason. If you know what the status quo is this kind of ties into the whole political crap. Fuck the status quo. Not always. Like, there's sometimes public opinion is right, but man, if you go with the status quo, I feel like that's how. This is just my personal opinion. I feel like that's how we ended up where we are here in America. The status quo, just status quo, man, and that gets out of hand. Because there's always someone smart. Even if you don't apply the whole aristocratic theology, someone in a democracy is going to end up above someone and be smarter. And can, drive, be a ghost captain of the ship. Like, oh no, this is the captain. No, this is the real captain. This is the driver. Manipulation. People pulling strings. Status quo. Anyways, I changed my name to Status Crow, and people saw Crow and they're like, "Is this Crow? Crow Bennett?" Oh, yeah. And then I said, "Actually, I want to be called Loretta. I want to have babies." "Well, how can you have babies? You have in a womb. Don't you oppress me." Monty Python for the win. Hate speech over here has become the norm. Yeah. That's why I don't read the newspaper, or that's why I kind of enjoy escapism in the form of video games. Because it's something that makes me do something with my hands. I got to do something with my hands. Play guitar, play the keyboard, click buttons, and excuse me, I took a rip there. And in the community, there's, yes, people will bring it up. Like I just said that. Like I couldn't tell you that it doesn't come up. Also, really am enjoying hanging out with my British friends again because they're very polite, And when I bring the brick and ball crew over, they are. I mean, they're stereotypes for a reason. The loud, obnoxious, fucking Americans, and I see that clear as day, and I'm one of them too. There's a thing though, like in the ways in which we talk, and the for lack of a better way of explaining it, the manner in which we speak. I got a good example. So one of the leaders from the British side, Daedalus, named after a Greek god, was talking to my friend Dan, who's the main leader recruiter, and he needed some kind of item or some shit, and Daedalus said, "Well, quit being such a fanny about it." And all of the U.S. guys just busted out laughing, and because the way he said it was like how we would say, "Quit being such a fucking bitch about it." God. But he said, "Well, Dan, you go to the base, quit being such a fanny about it." No, and there was accent on the fanny. Quit being such a fanny. Like, even when they're insulting the shit out of each other, they're being really polite. And that's just not how Americans are. It's been normalized, hate speech, and just like not just hate speech, but just inflammatory language, like overblown. Does that make sense? Don't be such a fanny. Oh, everybody was cracking up. We got some really parental advisory explicit, speakers. One of them has a brain injury and he literally can't control it anymore. So, containment is necessary because it'll do my head in, man. Take the piss right out of me. Listening to that. We had a guy come in who didn't work out. He was from New Jersey. And I mean, everyone was cool with it. he just had to tone it down, but he couldn't. He's from New Jersey. It sounds like he's having a heart attack all the time, and he's got to talk all the time. And when you talk, you can't say. He'll ask a question, and as soon as you start to answer, it's almost like Arnold, but like a New Jersey Arnold Schwarzenegger that doesn't ever stop talking. Imagine that. That's what this guy is. Nice guy, though. Bach. I'm told British people think our term fanny pack is hilarious to them. Yeah, it's like pussy pack. You got your pussy pack on? I can see how that'd be funny. Yeah, Cynthia said it right up there. Pussy pack. Yeah, I got my fanny pack on. What's wrong with that? Fanny pack. Well, I'm laughing. That's good, I guess. Oh, yeah. Like I said, man, I could give a fuck. I love the support. I love you guys. You know? I don't care if there's 2 of you here. I've done it. I've been here with 1, 2 people. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care about subscriber count. You call it a bum bag? Where are you at? I thought you were in the US. That kind of makes sense. This might be a regional term or something somebody came up with. Here in Louisiana, as I said earlier, there's a lot of prejudiced people here. They call it a fag bag. That's what they call it. Laughing on a Monday is a good way to start the week. Yeah, especially with the crushing reality of, existence. Oh, man. I think in the last 7 years, I've aged way more than I probably should have. Stress will do that. My friend, another friend from the group, just got his back pay from SSDI. But if it wasn't for his one right arm that was working, he'd be dead. I mean, what I'm saying is it was cut so close. It was like, because he had to be hospitalized, and it was a major, major, major deal. And he's over 50, so they're like, fine, we'll give him his back pay. But you gotta almost die for it. And then even then, it's like, if you make more than $1,400 a month in any other way, oh, well, you're good. Cut your ass off. You got to reapply. Or petition, or fill out these forms, call these numbers, fax us these papers, need your full medical record all over again. Okay, Beach is not far from London. Well, maybe I'll meet you too, Beach. I'm really kind of a little nervous and excited, excited to meet Alex's mom. She's such an incredible musician, talent. Well, that's the thing. Maybe that's why I'm nervous and excited, because he's told me stories about, her cranking down on a band in the studio or in rehearsals. And I'm not sure if she is like formally trained. I can't remember what he told me. I know he's told me. But even if she is formally trained, a formally trained vocalist is a lot different. Well, there are some major differences usually between someone who is formerly educated as a vocalist and someone who is self-taught musician who can actually play with formal musicians, such as myself. Like, I can talk about music theory to up to a certain point, because music, just like math, there's certain. It's like you get to certain points and compositions turn into these rule-ridden spaces. And there's reasons for the rules, because you can do certain things just like in math, but I don't I intuitively understand those things, but I can't like verbalize why it is the way that it is. If I had to break down a piece of classical music and write about it, I'd have a hard time. I mean, what I would write would probably be interesting, but to a college professor, because I took theory and I took Theory 101, Theory 102, and that's it. But, you know, Professor Lauderdale would care less about how the music was moving and how it felt and all that. He wants to know, what is this? What is this? What is this? What's this cadence? How many times does this cadence repeat? When does this motif come in? Why the choice of motif here and not there? Then I could expound on my opinion about it, but I have to know the entire layout, and it's like architecture, in my mind, music. It's building a structure. There's structure to it. So, anyways, with Fiona, who has like 12 albums out that are just all badass hybrid fusion, which is some of the most difficult music to play. And from experience, this is where the nervous part comes in. From my own experience in playing in groups like that, sometimes the vocalists that can pull that stuff off, they usually have to have some, if not a lot, of formal training. And if you've never listened to Fiona's stuff, highly recommend it, any of it, because she, throughout any song, will usually showcase the full extent of her voice in every song. It's incredible. But there are songs that she focuses on a specific range or whatnot, or some characteristic of her voice. But so what I'm getting at is, the nervous part is she one of the people that I've worked? Is she like some of the people I've worked with who have a formal education, but like me, I don't have the ability to verbalize a big, Tchaikovsky piece. And she and other people that have a formal education in voice, a lot of times, in my experience, do not have a way to verbalize arrangements. They look at the arrangements and they can see them and they're right in front of their face, but sometimes have a hard time verbalizing changes to the arrangement, because in their mind, this is the arrangement. And they don't want to change the arrangement, but they're verbalizing the best way they can. I want to make this change. I think that comes from the institutionalized kind of nature of music training and vocal training and Western music and how it's taught, because they will teach you jazz. They will teach you jazz at a school. And that just makes no freaking sense. But what they do is they take these masters of jazz, Thelonious Monk, uh, Miles Davis, Duke Ellington, Clifford Brown, Max Roach. The list goes on and on. There's 6 or 7 books. They're called real books, and that's what you use when you're in college, usually for your recitals and your it's a semesterly thing that you have to do, and you have to get so many hours playing this stuff. But what they do and how they teach jazz, I'm not saying this is how it is everywhere. We have a school out in Texas here in the United States called North Texas University. They used to call it North Texas State, NTSU. Now it's just called University of North Texas. Um, so they teach jazz probably the best, but almost everywhere else it's pretty similar. They have you play all these pieces, and then you have your what are essentially clinicals. You just sit and play all this stuff with random musicians. You get thrown in rooms with people, and you play the music, and you get corrected by the instructors, and you get lessons, and they're like, this you got to play it like this way, and there's a whole other way to do the thing. But this is just mimicry, you know. Uh, that's what they're teaching. That doesn't mean that someone can't tap into something a little deeper through mimicry. I think that it's similar to memorization. Some complain about the repetition and of memorization in primary and middle and high school, where it's just like they just want you to regurgitate. They want you to memorize, regurgitate, memorize, regurgitate, memorize, regurgitate. And I can totally see how that it can be a bad thing, because that's exactly how you indoctrinate. But the whatever the information is probably what's important, because if you're memorizing something that is meaningful, then later you may make a connection for yourself that makes it more meaningful or helps you to discard less useful information. I don't know. Excuse me. Yeah. Whoa. There you go. There's a free one. No. Okay, so the safe space. The broke safe space. This is like coming and hanging out in some back alley with some crazy person. Thank you for the gesundheit. Yeah, I have a hard time with seeing uh the I'm learning what value is. Sounds very, very, you know, ambiguous thing to say. But I still have a hard time with seeing any value in myself. I have a hard time with it. I get really frustrated with myself and feel like nothing is ever enough. And it can never be enough. I can never be enough. Even when people tell me otherwise, even when people I trust and love tell me otherwise, it's still an internal thing. I don't feel any value. Like I don't possess any value, anything of value. So it's fine with me that, uh, you're going to archive my shit in some discords. I don't care. Yeah, Whitney says I struggle with that too. I think it's from my dad. It might be from your stepdad. Well, it might be. I'm exploring it, I guess. I am seeing value. I've started to see value in things that you can't put money on. Like you can't put a value. You can't put a value on it. That's what I mean. I'm understanding a little more about that. That there are things that you can't buy that are immensely valuable, and yeah, I don't know if that's where I'm at and just full stop, or if those values, are worth X, Y, or Z to people, you know. Um, I think it was Steve Jobs that said, it was either Steve Jobs or Bill Gates on some highly quoted piece of advice, show up in like Business Insider and shit. Invest in people. Like if you could give one, or no, it wasn't Bernie Murdoch or whatever, some crazy rich motherfucker, stock trader. Maybe that's what it was. It wasn't Ben Bernanke. Somebody else. Maybe the guy who founded the Bill Gates Foundation with Bill and Melinda. Who was that guy? What's that guy's name? Whitney, you know that? Mm. Phone. I'm getting tired of these. Oh, that's a good notification. Thanks, Brenda. Here you go for that. Okay, what was that? What was I talking about? I took a rip, and I was waiting on the name to see if Whitney knew the quote. Also, Whitney said, "For me, it is the hardest thing to overcome the incredible shame I have for no reason." Yeah. I think at a certain point, for me, I got a really good, like as a young adult or teenager, because of the domestic stuff. It was court ordered that I go to therapy. Now the therapist is constantly fighting, dealing with things that my therapist deals with now. And she's like, I just can't get these parents to help their kids. They don't seem to give a shit. They're just here because it's court ordered. And, you know, I wasn't interested in a lot of the coping skills they had to offer at the time because they were very adult like coping skills. They weren't any fun. So I coped with drugs and alcohol or anything I could get my hands on. Drugs, plants, alcohol, mushrooms, and disassociate as a coping thing, which is not ideal. But I did also have a healthy one, and that's the one that I was, on the verge of just giving up because it was being made difficult, and I was being taken away from my healthy. Basically, my healthy coping mechanism was being taken from me. Like if I don't have a guitar, I can't play. So I'm gonna go out and drink, or go out, sneak out, and go sell some dope, so I can get something else because I'm so screwed up that I want to be somewhere else. Like I want to take some mescaline. Um, the coping strategy that I had, which I didn't even really realize it at the time, helped me through. But the set and setting when you're taking those kinds of drugs, which I took a lot of hallucinogens. Warren Buffett, thank you, Martha. Warren Buffett, invest in people. So, cool pivot there too, because in talking about uh, feeling shame for no reason, like Whitney said, or feeling like I have no value. I am of zero value, pointless. I'm starting to think about, because what I do know, like if I don't know, or if I'm questioning, or if I feel, whether it's real or not, the feeling is, or the thing is still there, right? It's like hard coded, whether it was told to you or whether you believe it, doesn't matter. It's still there. I feel like I have no value. I am ashamed of myself for infinite reasons, or I have no value to an infinite level. Um, this is pretty deep to go for Monday morning. I think that this is a good sign, though. This might mean we're gonna have a good week this week. Yeah, the I know what I'm capable of, right? So I see what I'm capable of now, but because I felt like I had no value, I felt like I had to overdo things, and I'd take risks to do them, big ones. It's definitely a long-term trait that, or a long-term thing that has been. There's Lulu. That's Lulu. That Doug was like, oh, I've actually heard it, and it's nothing nice, but she sure looks sweet on the screen. I'm sure y'all can hear Lulu just um God damn, I'm holding on by a thread. Hmm. Holding on by a thread. So like, no value is how I feel, or how I felt. And so it feels like you're hanging by a thread. Like anyone at any point in your life that you care about, because you feel I'm putting you in my shoes with the value thing. Anybody in your life that you know or care about can just immediately drop you. So you do more. You're the better friend. You listen more. Whatever. Maybe sometimes it's not all altruistic either. Maybe sometimes you're the mean. You go further in anger or further in your opinion, or advice, because in order to overcome that fear, maybe it's a deep fear of abandonment or something, or losing loved ones, or not having any connection at all. I feel like I'm doing therapy on myself, because as I said that, I just realized that that's a good way to start learning how to disassociate early, is to not feel like you matter. You're just there. I'm not saying that my mama didn't love me or nothing like that. I just mean that's how I felt. Regardless. Who David? It must be somebody's real name. It must be Willie's name. Now I know your name. Now, Doug was not monetized either, and he was very much against monetization. We did this similar thing. It's like, if you want to help, cool, it'll help. But some of the creators, now I've never seen a check. Doug said he saw a copy of a check, and if I could show it, I would be awesome. But it's no wonder, like, if you want money, it would be no wonder, like, I could see how someone would be like, oh, I have nothing going for me right now, or I want to fight this group, because, a lot, I'd say 50-50 people fall into these categories. It could be, I could be completely wrong, but there are a lot of exes that don't want to go through that process of exposing all of what happened in and around their sphere of, influence, or their time on staff, whatever. Like, I have a friend that was in for 3 decades. She could tell some stories, man, but it's almost like it would be too. It would. She's up in age, and if she's not really worried about necessarily fair game, but it's just too much to bring up at this age. It's too much for her. She's a very sensitive person. And she got health issues too, So, but if she did, she'd get a check. It's almost like getting hush money, except you're not hushing about it. Yeah, I mean, it's some of the YouTubers make a lot of money. One of the guys in the British uh, division had a friend who started doing ASMR videos and retired. So, uh, you know, if there's something that you have knowledge about, expertise about, opinions about that is somewhat niche and has an audience, such as Scientology, people love to, and there are a lot of people who have, instead of doing the rubbernecking thing and then going on to the rest, like people like stopped. And I think that's a positive thing to acknowledge. A lot of people stopped and stayed and learned more and, had their own shocking realizations, not just about Scientology, but through Scientology, found all kinds of other fucked up things that are going on. Like if that's going on, then what the hell? But there's still that large mass of people who don't, who are either too busy to really dive into things or too lazy or aren't, you know, apt enough up there, don't have enough capacity or whatever to um, comprehend it, or they just don't care. Like, doesn't affect them. There's a lot of people like that. Doesn't affect me. I don't fucking care. Um, well, Martha says this is good. Disassociation can be a good thing sometimes because I'm going to comment on that because if you ask a psychiatrist or you refer to the material, the psychiatrists and material that psychologists will use as reference materials, there's a disassociation scale. And at a certain point, like, disassociation is bad. And of course, there's all kinds of criteria, But the disassociation, depending on what it looks like, regardless of where on the scale, depending on what it looks like, the criteria, like, could be confused for bliss, blissful ignorance, presence, like not in any, like just present right in that moment, like their thoughts are not elsewhere. And I find that interesting that the word disassociation is a similar, like some of the criteria are similar to bliss and ignorance and peace, or you know unfazed, unbothered, and present. But there are different kinds of disassociation, and not all of them, I would say, are good. I've been in some disassociative states through the use of drugs that were horrible disassociative states. I mean, if you could imagine taking acid or mescaline or mushrooms, living in a tumultuous domestic abusive household as a teenager, like that's what these dissociative events were. So I would say, yeah, they were probably formative, because of what mushrooms do. You know, there's probably some shit. Set and setting are clinically important when they administer these kinds of drugs. Now, hey, Marcus. Hey, Clearwater Chat. What's up, Chad? How you doing this morning, bro? The YouTube dream is a thing, but watch out for the dangers. Mr. Beast is in a world of hurt right now. His empire is collapsing right now. Word. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. To get that kind of... The thing is he's young enough. He could probably, recover. Sorry to go down Scientology. Hold on. Mr. Beast is right. His empire is collapsing right now. I don't know. Now I'm confused. I thought you were talking about Mr. Beast and Scientology. Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to talk about Scientology. Otherwise, I get in the archive. I got a whole archive myself. You gonna archive my archive? Okay, cool. Whatever. Salaciousness. If I be salacious and passive aggressive, algorithms like that. Check this out. So those who are hip to technology and video games and stuff, once human is being run partially by AI, like actively on their servers, it's absolutely crazy. And they're using all of the data collection services that they can, including voice communications, to essentially automate AI, bug reporting, and technical issues, and extrapolate out of all this data what patch needs to happen, what code needs to be fixed. It's freaking crazy. Yeah. I knew Mr. That's why. Okay, he's not a Scientologist. Mr. Beast is not a Scientologist. And I've watched the one where he got buried alive in the thing. He does some crazy shit, man. That's some crazy amount of money that he got. I didn't know his empire was collapsing. I didn't know I don't know what his net worth is. I do know that, or at least I've seen in some cases where people who are extremely rich are beholden to, the powers that be. And they're sort of like, stand here, do this, do that. Now you have free time. And that's kind of sad, or it's depressing, I bet, for the people. It's like everyone latch on to their life because of the money. And yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but sure didn't know I didn't know he was on a downturn or anything. I figured he's pretty resourceful and clever and figure out how to keep it going. But I mean, does he even need to? Uh, there's several people I know from United Kingdom that made in tech investments more money than the government wanted them to, and the government said, "Look, here, you're retired. This is how much money you'll get every whatever period, but you can't keep making that much money." So I know a 35-year-old who's retired because he made that much money, and they're like, "No, no, 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 no. You'll take this much money and be happy for the rest of your life." So what ukulele apology? Oh shit! Playing adult games with children is always very risky. Mr. Beast will probably lose badly in court, so I guess there was an injury. That sounds like a fucking setup to me. Wow. Did he do a ukulele apology? See, I didn't know all this. I like to remain blissfully ignorant. Oh, goodness. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Waking up. I just now got to the third or the bottom here where it says you may speak now. So, other than the mandatory topic of Scientology to stay relevant, anything, anybody got any comments, questions, concerns, upsets, missed withholds? Oh, false reads, bad indicators, VGIs, VBIs? Is your needle floating? Do you have a dirty needle? Do you know anyone who is hostile against Scientology? Have you ever been contacted by the FBI or the CIA? I'm trying to remember more questions on the sec check sheet that I had was a combo check sheet that had custom questions on it. They were all picked out of Hubbard stuff, but it wasn't a standard Joe Berg A to J checklist. Do you have any? Do you know anyone? Is there anyone in your third dynamic that is hostile to Scientology? Yeah, they go by dynamics. So, oh, did she go? You went to the show. Oh, that's so awesome. Do you have pictures? Or did you just... Sometimes I'm real bad about taking pictures now because I feel like when we went from click, which is a special moment, you know, like a picture. When you would grab a camera, like, do y'all remember people would like kind of mosey together because they knew you were going to take a picture? Well, everyone has an exogenic cybernetic device which has a camera in it. And, but it doesn't feel the same to me. And so I feel like a douchebag anywhere. Like, and if you did a portrait or a selfie or something before, you know, you'd have to set the thing on a timer and, like, you know, either pose or just do an exposure. Cool. Oh, yeah. I'll take it. I'll take a short video of Laura singing Dream Love. I'd love to hear her do it the whole thing live, but I'll take what you got. Show me what you got. Mm. You got a book of negatives, yeah. Yeah, there's some negatives here. There's some old slides here from Ira's childhood. Out in West Texas. Old shit. Kodak film. Kodak. They were meant to be like you didn't have to have a projector to see them. Because not everyone could afford projectors, but so they're slides, full color slides, but they have this little cardboard adhesive that makes it like a picture, and you just don't touch the slide, and it's essentially I never took photography, but hey, CO Bill, good morning. The slides. Yeah, it's like a fully developed picture, but the paper or whatever, it looks like the film itself. So it looks like fully developed film in a slide case. Irrelevant. I'm just, you know, that punk rock about it, I guess. I really don't give a fuck. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Meet me in person and be the same fucking thing. That's what I shoot for anyway. I know it's not perfect. I am, you know, after all, broadcasting. So, and Doug always told me, you need to, you know, put your acting skills to use. Well, I don't feel right doing that or I'm not comfortable with that yet. How about that? Hey, there's my brother. Good morning. Selfless flew from Austin on his own dime to drum for Laura. Oh, cool. Yeah, I really want to see that clip now. Can you send it? Let's see here. Un momento. Do this for now. Have one of these. Have a Lulu bark. Howl. All right. You got that video, Whitney? Ready to go? Oh, scrolly scroll. Okay. You said it's on your YouTube page, right? Okay. Damn it, where is it? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the. Do you have your other? Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Do you have your other channel listed on this page? Oh. You haven't uploaded it yet. When was the show? Yeah, get on. Fuck a picket line. Get on a stage. That girl's got talent. She's got something that needs to. It's therapeutic. You know, not a big secret. Therapeutic stuff is good. And she sings with all of it, all of herself. Amazing. I hear it in the performances. I know they're inspired performances. I know that it's therapeutic. I don't know how else to describe. I don't know how else to put it. I can recognize it. I bet she was really good. And I bet it felt really good for her to do that. I'm glad too. Shows are important. You know, recording is good. It's not, you need to keep a record and always be recording stuff, developing it. At a certain point, you have to record it. And at you know, as in the most inspired way, try to capture the most inspired thing that you can. But for me, shows are I mean, there are such things as hell gigs that exists, but shows are the like the real looking at you're seeing it happen in front of you. You're seeing sublimation occur in a person, you know, in a person. This may sound off for me, like off brand for me, but Reba McEntire is a great example of somebody that captures an audience with her presence and her performance, because it is all very inspired. And with Reba McEntire, it's inspired, I think, through experience. Her experiences and her attitude, her songs, what she sings about, it's all experience. Whether she wrote the songs or not, she can perform them, even if she hasn't experienced whatever it is she's singing about. Reba McEntire. And a whole show. She got a whole damn show and brings that same energy. It's insane. She's captivated millions. And I think it's through experience or her ability to perform as if she had the experience herself. So pedal snappy? Wait a minute. I don't know what y'all are talking about. TRO. What is TRO? TR. That's not a zero. At least where I practice, getting a TRO is a huge pain in the ass and usually requires posting a bond. It is amazing that they go to those lengths. When it was Saturday, you had to record. What were you drinking on? Okay, temporary restraining order. Yeah. See, this is why I do not go, like when I drop the kids off, I stop at the white fucking line in front of the house and I put my hazards on. It's in a neighborhood that doesn't have too much traffic and it's safe. I had a protective order placed against me, and a protective order is the whole 500 feet away at all times thing. Now, it was supposed to be for 6 months, but the thing is here, they last forever. So in practice, really, they can, if the person that issued it wants it to, it can last forever. And that is what's going on. So I'm not violating it whenever, yeah, at this point, okay, 500 feet at all times. 500 feet. Fine. Because even pulling into the driveway, I might get something copy pasta from the protective order. See, the thing is, it doesn't happen frequently. It's only if, anyways. Temporary restraining order. Luckily, I never had a restraining order. Because, and I probably would have gotten one had I not just accepted the protective order when it was issued. But the problem with doing that as a co-parent, where you have children involved, is that if you adhere to that throughout the children's lives, they don't get to see any parental interaction at all whatsoever if you're adhering to that protective order. And, you know, you can, if I didn't do that, I could put myself at risk for another lawsuit or temporary restraining order, and make more of a mess. You know, it's already a mess that the protective order isn't working properly. But it's better than having a protective order, then a restraining order, and another lawsuit, and whatever. So, Viper Room, awesome. It's 12:01. I started on time. I'm gonna end on time. Yeah. Whitney's like, give me a break. I just got back. I need one of those too. I think everybody probably does. Should be crazy. To quote Mike Judge, or actually Dr. Lexus, a character Mike Judge created. I don't mean to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says here on your chart you're fucked up, talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded. But it's cool though, man. My sister's a tard and she's a pilot. Idiocracy. You guys do your week. Carpe diem. Birthdays. Happy birthday. Go get something to eat. Well, if you're in, I'm in Central Time Zone, but I'm gonna go get something to eat, and yeah, try to start my week and figure out. I gotta publish stuff too. Whitney is why I was saying it's like, you know, yeah. Give me. You were saying give me a minute, and I'm thinking give me a minute. So much stuff to clip and edit, publish. And I'm playing Once Human and working on music and mowing the grass and picking up the kids and stuff like that. It's great. So y'all have a good week. Feel free to post on the community tab if you have something to say. And here's another little howl. Do that. See you next time. From the irrelevant, straight out of irrelevant, archived.